is Friday, and what a beautiful day it is. I woke up this morning, walked outside to take a piss with the dog. That's right, I piss in my backyard sometimes because I can, because sometimes it just feels good to pull out the dingle-dangle and just let it flow.
How's your neighbor feel about that?
Well, I have a very high fence, so I don't fucking care what they think. So, and even if there wasn't, well, good for you. You get a free show.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
How's it going, Bob? Just, don't worry about that. Just ignore that.
Taking a little dew off the lily.
No, I woke up, walked outside, and it was a nice breeze blowing. It feels like, I wish you would maintain this. This is like perfect weather. Mm-hmm. But Texas, wait 5 minutes and it'll be Satan's asshole again. So that's how it goes. But anyway, good morning, folks, or good afternoon, rather. As you know, we're going to try and be live every day, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. CST, right here at the Alamo on Rumble. And if you're not following us on Truth Social, you should. It's John Burke over there, as well as Shell Shock CBD, and then Josh's account. You have your account spelled weird, though.
What?
You have a Truth Social one, right?
Yeah, it's I think it's just at J Schwa. JSHWAAA.
There you go. So make sure you give a follow over there. And the reason for that is on Truth Social, we can post about Delta 8, Delta 9, products that many people are probably not even aware that we even have, because when we post Delta 8 or Delta 9 to Facebook or Instagram, they ban it. They pull it because they're fucking retarded. That's just the way those stupid platforms work. So if you could, go follow us on Truth Social. We really appreciate that. And that way you can get accurate advertisement, accurate deals of what we're actually doing, what's going on, so you guys can see firsthand so you don't miss out on anything. So anywho, big thank you to Jessica Harlow. She came on yesterday, did the interview. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was nice. It was nice kind of taking a little bit of a political break, even though we talked about some politics, but it wasn't in depth. Mm-hmm. But I really like her. She's an interesting cat. Like, I like the fact she doesn't hold back. She doesn't give a fuck. She's not sitting there like trying to pretend to be some kind of influencer. Like, what you see is what you get. And I respect that. There's a lot of people out there like that. And I like that about people. So, but it was, again, a lot of fun. Thankful for her coming on the show. And if you're a listener from hers, hey, welcome. Appreciate you being here. But anyway, oh my gosh, so much in the news, as always. I mean, there's always going to be inundation of stupid shit in the news. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But now I remember I'd spoken about this not that long ago when we talked about how the Army is going, or the military in general is going very woke. And mainly the reasoning for this are these liberal indoctrinational grounds, aka college campuses, where a lot of these officers are getting their degrees and then enlisting from. And this only kind of proves the point. And I know y'all all know this, but I felt like I needed to hit this. But right here, where is it? I just had the article pulled up. I'm sorry, where the fuck's it at? Oh my God, it's gonna be one of those days, huh?
Get it together.
One of the, here it is. I just was looking at the article. Air Force Academy promotes fellowship that bans cisgender men. This program isn't for you. Eligible applicants must be cisgender women, transgender women, non-binary, agender, bigender, two-spirit, demigender, gender fluid, or genderqueer, aka retarded. That's what it comes. Just retarded. You need to be mentally retarded.
It sounds like there's super high when they're making these names up.
Bro, no, I disagree. And here's the reason for. I've seen you and I high. I've seen you and I baked out of our gourds. And even when I've got my head in orbit of, I was going to say Uranus, but let's not go there. When I've got my head in orbit of Pluto, even then I think this shit's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest with this. Again, I've said this time and time again. The people that embrace this type of mindset, you're attention whores. Your mommy didn't hug you enough. You probably don't have a father figure in your life. You're an attention whore. If you feel the need to separate yourself from society, now really think about this. This is what they're trying to do at heart. They're trying to separate themselves from society to make themselves feel special. Mm-hmm. But in order to do this, for say somebody like you or myself, it's through actions and accomplishments that help you stand out and stand apart, if that's what you're doing it for. These people want that same recognition, yet don't want to actually do anything. It's more about who they stick their dick in, or who sticks their dick in them. That's why the LGBT is losing more and more ground. And it's not that you're gay, it's just that you're annoyingly gay.
Oh, it's so terrible.
It's just annoying. You're cisgender. What the fuck does that even mean?
Right, yeah.
Because then they want to come up with this idea. And this is why Democrats, by and large, or liberals, we'll just call these extreme in the liberal left, because I think a lot of moderates do not agree with this on the left. But when you were sitting there trying to say that, well, gender is a social construct. No, a social construct is based upon the design of your sex, based upon your genitalia or your chromosomes. That's where we got the social construct of male versus female, is through a scientifically backed system. Makes fucking sense. Well, liberals don't like that. It's not enough for them. They can't just be satisfied with that. Instead, it's like, you know what? Because let me be honest with you, based upon what they're showing right now as far as cisgender, genderqueer, blah, blah, all these different genders, then tell me when you hit the realm of insanity saying, I identify as a unicorn. What's any different between that and what you're doing right now? Literally none. You're identifying as something that you are not, some made-up fabrication of your feelings. Well, I've got news for you, and I don't care who this offends, trans, gay, it doesn't fucking matter. I and many people like me do not give a rat's ass about your feelings. If you look like a woman, I'm going to call you ma'am. You look like a dude, I'm going to call you sir. If you don't like that, I don't know what you want me to tell you. But what I'm not going to do anymore, what I did in the past, but I think that that's given too much, is you refer to transgender people by their preferred. No, I think they should be called exactly what they are. You can be respectful all you want, but I think that when you do that, you are playing in the game. You are supporting a mental illness. That's not healthy. Now, do I think that should be made illegal? Of course not. No, I don't think that at all. But I think it's my right as a free American. It's like, I'm not going to address you by your preferred pronouns. I'm certainly not going to call you what you're pretending to be. You are what you are. And if you don't like that, well, go move to a country that accepts that, or just, I don't know. Don't really care. Don't really care. But eligible applicants must be, okay, I already read that part. The United States Air Force Academy in Colorado is encouraging cadets to apply for a fellowship program for gender minorities that specifies cisgender men need not apply. Dumb move. Very, very dumb move.
Yeah, you know, for a group that wants to be so inclusive and include everybody, to exclude people seems just a tad hypocritical.
I would like to see the numbers. And you can go look this up, and I know that I'm right on this. Go show me how many white, heterosexual males enlist in the military. And I am warning you right now, to our woke military stupid leadership, to your Mileys, your Lloyd Austins, all of you retards out there that you're invested in, investigating white fragility and white rage. I would prefer to look into black supremacy at the hands of Lloyd Austin and the likes, but we'll get there eventually. But what I would like to know is, if you are so worried about, number one, your retention numbers and then your recruitment numbers, why are you sitting there alienating the main demographic that fills your ranks and does the majority of your fighting? I'm going to say it. You want John Burke uncensored? Attack the white community and see how that fares for you. Because it ain't black, it ain't Asian, and it ain't Hispanic that comprises the majority of your ranks. If you want to demonize heterosexual white males, you feel free. And then the next great war, all you're going to get killed is your LGBT warriors and shit like that, which, good riddance. Let the trans go fight. I'm okay with that. You're going to get mowed over, but whatever. That's just less shit we got to deal with. Attack the white male community. We built this fucking country. Go ahead. Because here's the deal. Does me even saying white community, does that make you feel weird? It makes me feel weird. Mm-hmm. Because we're not in any kind of community. Because we don't believe in community to that extent. It's like, you're a grown-ass man. You deal with your shit yourself. Makes sense to me. But then again, I can see the opposite side of the spectrum to that. It's like, well, your community has never been under attack. It is now. So what you're doing is essentially forcing us to form a white community and fight back against racism towards white people. And if you think it doesn't exist, you got your head in the ground. You're an ostrich. It most certainly does exist. I saw a viral article or a viral video yesterday on TikTok. Hispanic dude talking, literally he's calling, like, we need to kill white people. Literally calling for it. TikTok boots, or I'm sorry, Libs of TikToks posted it.
I saw a video of I think it was a black guy interviewing it was a black girl who asking her if she would date outside of her race. Mm-hmm. And she was like, no, I want to keep my race pure. Say, like, I mean, he's like, switch that around with white. But imagine you were talking to a white person, you're talking to a white guy, and be like, why do you only date within your race? Oh, I just want to keep my bloodline pure. Mm-hmm.
Which, here's the thing.
Yeah,
if that's how you feel, fine. Yeah. Cool. That's your prerogative. Yeah. I don't think that's racist for a black person to say they don't want to date a white person because they're not attracted to them. And I'll be honest, I'm not attracted to Asian women. I'm just not attracted to them. there's just something that I just don't find, or kind of like a fat woman. I'm not attracted to it. Yeah. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you any less desirable. It's just something that it's kind of like flavors. I don't like the taste of a certain thing, whereas you might. It doesn't make either of us a bad person. It certainly doesn't make the target of what we're talking about bad or any lesser in value, but it's just our own personal preferences. But people cannot let it stand at that. They have to just continue and compound that and add on to it and make it seem as if it's something that's like, oh, that offends me. Again, like a father saying, no, I don't want my son to be gay. That's perfectly fine. That's not homophobic. That's completely natural. Because what if we switched that and said, I just don't want my son to be straight?
Yeah.
Is that offensive? No, it's a personal preference as a parent. I want my car to be blue. I want my eggs to be scrambled. These are personal preferences. I don't see how that is in any way homophobic towards the LGBT community. I want my son. Why don't I want my son to be gay? Because I want him to marry a woman and have grandchildren naturally to continue the bloodline,
right? To
continue the name.
Yes,
100%. There's nothing wrong with that. And if people
that's the whole part of human existence.
Exactly. And if people want to deny that for the sake of your feelings and your progressiveness, then I think you're just buying into this leftist ideology founded in just stupidity and retardation. There's nothing wrong with this. This is how mankind has evolved and continue evolution. You pass the bloodline, you pass the name. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you're not for that, then hey, that's your prerogative. I'm not knocking you whatsoever. If you are gay, I don't fucking care. That's great. Mm-hmm. But my personal preferences are different. And you cannot sit there and get mad because mine don't align with yours and vice versa. That shit annoys me. Again, like when Kevin Hart got in all that hot water to where he's telling his son, is like, stop playing with that. That's gay. That's fine. And yes, I do think environmental factors play a large role in someone's sexuality, a large one. Again, we saw the transgender freaking 10-year-old, and then her parents are fruitcakes just like she is, or he is, whatever it is. Absolutely.
What about the one couple here in Texas that...
The one in Plano with the son?
Yeah, the mother is an actual pediatrician, and she starts dressing her son as a little girl.
Did she lose that case?
It's still going on.
It's still going on.
This guy spent over $1 million trying to save his son.
Jesus Christ. I wish somebody would just take her out. Just take her out, hit her, whatever. Get rid of her. That's disgusting.
I don't even know how that's possible.
Me neither. It's ridiculous.
And that's here in Texas.
That's here in Plano.
Yeah.
It's nuts. Can you imagine? Like, just really imagine that for a second. Imagine your ex-partner, your ex-wife, and the child you share together, and say like you have a son. Now she's trying to dress him like a woman.
And she's a doctor.
And she's a doctor, which, again, that only goes to show you, just because somebody has a accreditation and a certain thing does not. Yeah, exactly. And that's the age that we live in now, to where now it's like, okay, trust the science. No, now I'm questioning the scientists.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you just have scientific activists is all this is. There is no more neutral science. Now it's political bias all behind it. Politics has infiltrated every aspect of our life.
Yeah.
Because of woke ideologies. Because now as society in America wants to progress into these realms of insanity, we have to have the science to back it. I mean, people wanted to say, like, say, for example, gay versus transgender. Back in the 50s and 60s, said, yeah, there is something wrong with you if you were attracted to the same sex. Which I still think, according to how nature works and animal kind, people say, well, there's gay animals. Like, yeah, they're very, very, very rare. And I don't think they're actually gay. I think it's just a matter of they're going to fuck whatever they can get their hands on. But the truth of the matter is, for like to reproduce, that cannot be done through homosexuality. That has to be a man and a woman. Mm-hmm. And I think it defies all law of nature. But that is your prerogative. You should not have to live your life according to anybody else's set values or morals. Now, the difference between that and transgenderism, why isn't transgenderism still classified as a mental disorder, whereas then homosexuality was but no longer is transgenderism is a disconnect between the body and the mind. How is that not a psychological disorder? You feel like you are a man that should be a woman. Is that not a disorder? Is that not normal? That's just me speaking here. I mean, it makes sense to me. So when people want to make that argument of like, well, what's the difference between, scientists changed over the years. They changed for homosexuals. Fair enough. I'll give you that. But I will not concede to you that there is not a psychological disorder between the body and the mind having a disconnect. There is a massive psychological disorder. Mm-hmm. And we shouldn't sit there and pussyfoot around it, because now the reason America is just circling the drain right now is that we hail these psychological disorders if it makes you somehow heroic. It's like, congratulations, you're schizophrenic. Oh, you're so noble. You're such a hero. What? No, you need help. You need medication. And more, you're seeing these transgenders that went through the commitment of transitioning coming out and do these interviews saying it was a mistake. I was lied to.
Yeah.
And what is social media doing? They are censoring.
Oh, yeah.
They do not want the people that have been lied to, that were fed that bullshit lie and propaganda, coming out and back and telling you, hey, don't do it. There's a little 18-year-old guy who's actually a girl, or a girl who's actually a guy, and he came out and did an interview. It's all over the webs, and they're trying to ban it as fast as they're uploading it. Talking about, yeah, I was fed this bullshit as a kid. I did the transition, everything. I now regret it. I was lied to. And at 18 years old, he's going to be like that forever. That's it.
That should open up a lawsuit.
I'm telling you.
If somebody's underage, and by the time they get to be an adult, they're like, they ruined my life.
Exactly. These parents are ruining their children's lives. This is what progressive liberalism gets you. These people are just insane. But anyway, back to the main story here. The United States Air Force Academy in Colorado is encouraging, but okay. The Academy sent an email September 14th informing cadets that the 2023 application for the Brooke Owen Fellowship for undergraduate women and gender minorities interested in aerospace is due by October 10th. What if that said no white people? It's basically what it says. No white men. What the fuck? What if we said, okay, fine, no black women? Uh-oh, the LaQuishas and Chifondas that would be pissed the fuck off. You'd be like protest. You'd be burning businesses and shit, right? But it's okay when you do it to white people. Why? Because white people let them get away with it. White people, by and large, let them get away with it. Why? Because we have jobs. We don't fucking care. It's fun. Whatever. But it's just the stupidity and the ignorance of it. We live in a country where it's perfectly acceptable for blacks to be racist towards whites, and that's fine. Or whites to be racist to other whites, and that's fine. What it basically boils down to is liberals to be racist towards white heterosexual males is what it comes down to. The application on the fellowship website says, if you are a cisgender man, this program isn't for you. Why? If we're all the same and we're all equal and we all can do the same things, why are we excluding one demographic? If women can do everything men can do, why are you excluding them? Or are you buying into this idea that based upon our sex, race, or religion, we do think differently, which I do believe is true. But those are not the playbooks or the rules in which liberals live their lives by. It's very interesting how you sit there and you talk about we don't do labels, no boxes, and you label yourselves like fucking crazy. You put yourselves in these boxes full of labels, and then we call you by said labels and you get offended. Doesn't make sense to me, but then again, this is liberalism. You live in a fantasy world. You are insane. You are the party of groomers and pedophiles. If you're a cisgender woman, a transgender woman, non-binary, agender, bigender, two-spirit, demigender, gender fluid, gender queer, or another form of gender minority, this program is for you. That's great, folks. Now you got nut jobs fighting in the armed services.
Two spirits.
What the fuck is two spirits? You're like getting gangbanged by Casper and his buddies over there? You're two. What the fuck is this?
That's like just the most ridiculous thing.
It's the dumbest shit. We live in a society of fucking dipshits.
One spirit, two spirits.
Part of me is kind of like, let's bring the Iranian regime over here to fucking get these fruitcakes under control. Let's have some mass violence and see just how oppressed you really are.
Yeah, man.
I guarantee, though, you fucking initiate a draft and you include all those genders, but you exclude one. It's like if you're a heterosexual white male, you're exempt. All of them people. Oh, I'm now a male. Yeah, I bet you are.
Sure you are, Nancy.
If you are a cisgender woman, a transgender woman, non-binary, blah, 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 okay, this program is for you. But we encourage you to check out our spin-off programs, the Patty Grace Smith Fellowship and the Martin Izakowitz Fellowship Program. The United States Air Force email said the Brooke Owens Fellowship is a 9-week paid internship at a leading aerospace company. You really want these whack jobs working at an aerospace company?
You betcha.
You want to deal with aerospace, yet you can't even figure out what fucking gender you are? Or you're kidding me with this? Hey, we're taking on some applicants to run this new nuclear program, but it only applies to people that just don't know what they got between their legs, and they can't define it because they're not biologists. Is that the kind of fruitcakes you want working on a nuclear program? And by fruitcakes, I mean retarded people.
That's exactly the kind of fruitcakes.
Bob, you're lightning in a bottle, my friend. Let's get the fruitcakes in here to fucking, whatever. It's just the dumbest shit. And these same people, by and large, folks, those are your scientists. Those are your scientists. I'm going into the field of science to prove that transgenderism is normal. So then you're not a scientist. You're just an activist using science as your guise. That's all you're doing. Let's be honest about this. Fox News Digital obtained the email from a concerned cadet who requested anonymity. I did it. Nailed it.
Anonymity.
Fuck. What did I say?
Anonymity.
I didn't say that.
Something like that.
Did I?
That's what I heard.
Get the dick out of your ears. Anonymity. In order to avoid retaliatory measures, professional repercussions, the cadet alleged that the United States Air Force Academy is hyper-focused on diversity and inclusion. Folks, this isn't anything new. Now, if you followed me for any period of time, you remember back when we broke the West Point story? I don't even know if that's when you and I were working together.
Yeah, I
don't think we were together yet. Like, not in that capacity. Like, okay, Josh and I fucked each other. But whatever, it doesn't matter. We're not gay. Anywho. No, this is, I think, before I met you. But I broke this West Point story of all black female cadets doing the black power sign. People were sending me this picture. I posted it, called them out, and they got crucified for it. It's like, why are you allowing this to happen with your cadets? Mm-hmm. Well, I thought that it's no politics. We're all the same color. We're fighting for the same thing. And that was one of the first breaking points that we saw leftist ideology, woke ideology infect our military ranks, because you let these black ghetto trash come in there and do that block bullshit. Oh, yes, I said what I said. They're ghetto trash. Black power. Fuck you. You wear that uniform. There is no power. There's no white power. There's no black power. It's American power. Mm-hmm. We're together. We're fighting on the same team. But all you're trying to do is segregate yourself because of some so-called victim ideology that has been pre-programmed into you by these stupid fucking liberals. That's when it started, when we really first started seeing it. So when you see the Air Force Academy coming out there with this bullshit, is it really any surprise? It's not. And again, West Point is nothing but a liberal indoctrinational breeding ground. So when you get a West Point officer that goes through this pipeline training in the Air Force and shit like that, and they go down to their unit and they take command, this is what they're indoctrinating their troops to do. And keep in mind, folks that don't know, the enlisted side of the house, we don't make policy. We have nothing to do with that. That's all officers. So all this retarded woke shit that you see coming through the military, that's officers. Officers are doing this. It's not enlisted. Now, granted, not all officers. Don't get me wrong on this. There are some officers that have some common sense. But these are woke officers. Now you have to ask yourself, to that man who wrote us the other day, talked about joining the Marines, do you want your son or daughter serving a nut job like that? Now you got to ask yourself some practical questions here. Now quote me on this, folks. This is not out of the realm of possibility. Do you want your son and daughter being led under fire by a nut job that doesn't know what gender they are, with a 64% suicide rate in their community as it stands? And that's not dealing with the horrors of combat. Now, you take a normal person that's not trauma, that is not psychologically damaged whatsoever, and you put them in a combat scenario, it's going to fuck them up. Mm-hmm. Trust me, I've been there. But now you're telling me you want to take somebody that already has problems. It's funny to me how people will even talk about, like, one of the most common things they see in the military is people with PTSD actually had prior PTSD from them joining the military, and all it did when they experienced combat was compound it. So then explain to me how it's perfectly acceptable for someone who's transgender to join the service. It doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense. But again, woke officers, this is what they're creating. Your military has gone woke. So don't enlist. Don't enlist. Don't serve these whack jobs. Don't serve these people that are like pro-groomers. Resist. Starve the war machine. And especially if you're a white male, don't fucking enlist. They're already doing it. They're excluding you in the United States Air Force Academy. You kidding me with this bullshit? White males need not apply? Fuck you then. How is that any different than black males need not apply? If I saw a program that said black males need not apply, it's like, that's racist as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
So then why is it okay for white people? Because again, we become very accustomed to racism towards whites. Stop standing for it, especially from black people. Because they scream the loudest. And I'm talking about the not just all black, I'm talking about the fucking liberal black people out there, like the Sean Kings and idiots like that. Especially these Facebook little keyboard warriors. When they're going racist, call them on their bullshit. Don't be afraid of these people. Yeah. Don't be afraid to stand up for what's right. Truth, justice, equality, racial equality. Somebody's got to put these freaking racist motherfuckers in check. But if white people are so scared to call out black people, then it's going to continue on. This cracker's not afraid. Why should you be? Or is it because, oh, they might get violent? I've had that happen many times. I'll find you. So, well, now you're acting like a violent black person. Now, that's a stereotype that we don't want to conform to now, is it? Oh, they don't like hearing that. They don't like hearing that. I've had the offers. Well, fucker, I'll find you. Go ahead. I hope you're a better shot. That's all that matters, because you ain't going to put a paw on me. You're not going to touch me. You come after me, I'm going to shoot you. That's all there is to it. I'm hitting you hard today, folks. It was not the intention either. This is just the God's honest truth. This is John Burke Uncensored.
It just flow naturally.
Just flows naturally. And you can sit there and say, John Burke's a white supremacist. No, absolutely not. But I am going to be honest with people.
Let it wash all over your face.
Ooh, this heterosexual cis male sperm. It's so great. Oh, by the way, unvaxxed. So I got pure blood, pure sleeves, pure seed. Oh, my God. And that's another thing that I've seen. And, you know, Michael Savage, I listen to Michael Savage. I like Michael Savage. He goes off the reservation a few times, but he made a good point like almost a year ago. He's talking about black representation or minority representation in Hollywood. He's like, explain to me why every commercial, the couple is black now. It's like, if we are going according to representation in America, it's whites that are the primary demographic. Yeah. So it stands to reason why you do not have more representation of certain minorities in Hollywood. Because here's the thing, if you want to pander, then feel free to pander. I'm not saying don't do it or you can't do it, but I'm saying it doesn't make sense to me. Like, if I've got 90% of my customer base are diabetic and 10% aren't, who do you think I'm going to favor?
Right.
I'm going to favor the overwhelming popular people or the overwhelming higher number. Doesn't mean I won't make something for the other people as well, because capitalism's capitalism. Right. But that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, somebody's bound to swoop in and fill that gap. It's just a matter of who is going to do it.
Exactly.
So if you have all these people who are just going to cater to one certain group, then that leaves a wide open range.
Yeah. I think we should have white entertainment television. Why not? Oh, because that's
wet?
We already have that. Wet. We should have wet TV. I mean, truth be told, we do already have that. I mean, it's normal TV. But you still get where I'm going on this. It just proves the point of, if we created a white entertainment television, minorities would be screaming racism. Why? You've got yours. Why can't we have ours? Equal is equal. Fair is fair.
Yeah.
All the actors on are going to be like the freaking Home Alone, or not Home Alone, the Home Improvement kind of stuff. Like I miss that shit. I miss that shit so much. Those were great TV shows. Even the Jeffersons was fucking great.
Jeffersons and
moving on up. Like, that's back, it's before we had such diversity and animosity towards each other. They were great programs.
Bill Cosby before he was
all rapey. Or probably while he was rapey. We just didn't know it.
We didn't know it.
You know who I've absolutely just fallen in love with? Dave Chappelle. I think the older that guy gets, the more wisdom he is just cranking out. And I think he is very undervalued as an intelligent human. I think more people look at him more as a comedian. But if you listen to the message he preaches, I was watching him this morning, and I was just like, this guy, he's intelligent. He gets it. He gets it. There are some things I disagree with him on, as per se. We're all going to disagree. Mm-hmm. But a lot of what he says, that was just like, bro, he's right. He's 100% right.
Yeah.
And he's like one of the leading comedians standing against this woke ideology bullshit.
Well, as a comedian, like everything has to be on the table.
Yeah.
You can't just, section things off, what you can talk about, what you can't. That's not freedom of speech.
No.
And being a comic, if you've ever watched the roasts and stuff that they
go hard.
Yeah, they go hard.
They go hard, but that's what's funny about it.
I mean,
people don't laugh at the stupid jokes. Right. They laugh at the jokes that have a kernel of truth to them. That's why when people make fun of stereotypes, I'm all about it.
It's funny because I was rewatching the the race thing that they did from the Chappelle show.
Oh yeah, the Black Power KKK leader.
Yeah, like the black people. Mm-hmm. It had Bill Burr on it as well, a young Bill Burr.
He's funny. Yeah. I love Bill Burr's another comic that's coming out there and be like, fuck this motherfucker, fuck this bullshit. Yeah, he doesn't care.
It's really funny.
I like Bill Burr.
Yeah, it's
so there's that on the Air Force. The slide presentation titled Diversity and Inclusion. How is that diversity and inclusion when you're not including white people?
Except the white people.
That's bullshit. That's like the biggest. Here's the thing, though. Do I really fucking care? No, because I'm not in the Air Force, and I'm certainly not gay enough to believe in shit like that. It's ridiculous. But there you go. Well, folks, a lot of us don't know. If you're over on YouTube, come over to Rumble. It's just Rumble at John Burke. Oh, by the way, I figured it out. For those that were in my Telegram chat the other night, I was posing a question there. It's like, I cannot figure out, because we have two John Burke channels. Well, the way it works on Rumble is you create one page, which we have as John Burke. It's got like 1,300 followers. From that, you can create sub-channels. I didn't know that, so we created the John Burke sub-channel and the John Ross sub-channel. I've renamed the main page John Burke Backup. Now, the John Burke channel that we're streaming to, that's the main one. That's the one we're going to plug, we're going to promote, but we still have the John Burke Backup. I will always stream to the John Burke main one, the one we're on now. So hopefully that clarifies this. It doesn't confuse people. Trust me, I was stressing the fuck out yesterday trying to sit there. I contacted Rumble. They explained it to me like I'm a moron because I am a moron when it comes to shit like this. We figured it out.
Like you're a Democrat.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. So we figured it out. So
I couldn't help it.
Couldn't help it. So Josh and I are sitting there racking our brains like, wait a minute, we got two different channels. The one channel is the John space Burke, and then the other one is John Burke together with no space. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we cannot figure this shit out until finally Rumble tells, like, look, dipshits, here it is. Like, yeah, we should have known that, so. Go fucking figure. Go fucking figure.
It's doing pretty good, though. Rumble's
yeah. Well, thanks to everybody listening. Yeah. We got like 300 live viewers in the chat. Thank you for, number one, here's the thing. Hit the plus sign for the Rumbles and then comment and then share. That helps us grow. Now, I got tagged in this thing today of Dan Bongino made a post about Rumble, and I guess they just went public. They opened up on Wall Street. And Rumble is this big sign. I mean, it has all these influencers on there to include Bongino, Gabber, and shit like that. But a lot of these names that I see on there are boomer neocons. I'm like, why don't you have some diversity of thought up on that motherfucker? Why isn't John fucking Burke on that? Well, of course, we're not big enough. That's the point that I'm trying to get to. Help us share, help us grow, become mainstream to combat these boomer neocons that need to be freaking ousted. The McConnells, all these people. You want a voice of common sense, a voice of the people, by the people, for the people that says fuck a lot? I'm your guy. Let's get us up there. So every time you share, every time you tell your friends, that helps us tremendously, more than you realize, and we are very grateful for that. So thank you to everybody that actually helps contribute and participate to that. By the way, we started streaming on the Telegram app. For those that don't know, we've been live on that too. So keep that in mind. Where is the view group info? Add members, invite via link. All right, if you didn't know, here's the Telegram link to our chat channel. Hopefully this actually works. I'll post it on the two different, I have the Rumble chat, and then I've got the chat where we have YouTube and stuff like that, because we're still on YouTube. We got the All-American Savage show over on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure they're going to ban that any day now, so...
You start talking about two genders.
Oh my God, it's just pathetic. It's ridiculous.
What do you mean there's only two genders?
I can't believe.
Who the hell do you think you are, bigot?
I still can't believe the fact that we're having these discussions, you know?
I know.
It's just, I can't believe it.
I'm still shocked about the guy who's on the Frisco school board committee who was saying that the topic of discussion for him was whether or not biological boys could use the girls' bathroom.
Yeah. Remember
I'm going to have to start going to some of these meetings.
I'm telling you, we both do.
I know, man. And really start showing up and be like, why? Because one has a penis and the other has a vagina.
It's pretty simple.
And I don't want a boy going to the bathroom with my daughter.
I agree.
How about that?
Yep. Now it's become more prominent to where like, okay, wait a minute.
You think that's a good reason, stupid?
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I smell these sandwiches. We had lunch delivered to us. We buy lunch for all the office on Fridays. And I guess they're on this potbelly kick. I got my sandwich sitting right in here in front of me, and I haven't even had breakfast.
Staring at you.
I don't know. But, yep, there's the link to the Telegram chat channel. Join us. It's just the Lost Savages over there. Yeah, appreciate that. Next one, Iran. I love this. I love that women are protesting in Iran against wearing the hijab.
Oh, yeah.
Leftist culture is not going to touch this because that means you got to speak out against Islam.
Put your hijab back on.
Put that hijab on.
Put it on.
I had some woman trying to tell me in the comments the other day, like the hijab is not a symbol of oppression because Jewish people require it. It's like, okay, the difference here is forced. Forced. Are you really wanting to die on this hill? You're talking about the yarmulke or whatever that is, and she talked about like Amish people wear bonnets. They're not forced.
They wear them because they like it.
Because they choose to. Therefore, it's not oppressive. It's not oppressive if you're choosing to do it. But if somebody comes along with a gun and puts to your head and says, you put that fucking hijab on, then the hijab becomes the focal point of oppression.
You know what? It is comfortable. I do
it's
like
very comfortable. But it's not right here. It's just ridiculous. Of course it's fucking oppressive.
Are the beatings oppressive?
No. Because the Jewish people beat their women. No, they don't. No, the fuck they don't. It's not mainstream religion. I just love it when people want to come at me sideways with this dumb shit. It's like, do you really see the shit that you're typing? Is this really the hill you want to die on? Is this really the point you're trying to make? That the hijab is not oppressive? It's very fucking oppressive.
I just can't imagine. They're just not serious human beings.
Let me ask you this. If you lived in the Middle East, do you think they would force you to wear that hijab? Fuck yes, they would. Therefore, it's oppressive.
Yeah, go
if you want to defend Islam, be my guest. You're going to have a lot to account for. Good luck.
Live over there for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Not oppressive. My dick. It's very oppressive. And trying to conflate it with other religions, I'm sorry, I don't see Jewish people lobbing homosexuals off of buildings en masse. I don't see Jewish people with suicide vests. It's not the Jewish people, or it's not the Amish people over in the Middle East shooting these women in the streets and beating them half to death because of a hijab. So yes, it is a symbol of oppression. I don't give a fuck what you think on that. It's true. Iran protests. Army vows to confront enemy. Iran protests have erupted over strict laws on women after the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. Now, again, there are multiple reasons why leftist media will not touch this. Celebrities will not speak out on it. Number one, if they do, they have to acknowledge the fact that Islam is not a religion of peace. Islam is a religion of violence in the Middle East. Now, in the Western Muslims, they are more progressive. It's a little bit different, but you get where I'm going on that one. So leftist media and celebrities will not touch that. Secondly, in order to combat it and speak out against it, you have to admit there is actual oppression going on in the Middle East, and therefore it's automatically going to cast a light of reflection back to America saying, oh, interesting how you can speak up for people here in America, but you ain't saying shit for them over there. Because why? And here's the crux. Here is the main reason, and listen very close. Modern day contemporary feminism, call it third wave or whatever you want to call it, in America, it only exists, and I'm about to blow some of your fucking minds here. It only exists because men allow it to.
You just blew my mind.
Uh-oh. Because here's the reason I say this. There is a system in place, laws in place, equality, votes, which was given to women by men. I'm not saying women didn't fight for it. But even today, when it comes to abortion, what do women do? We need men's voices. We need men's blah, blah, blah. There's more women in America than men. Mm-hmm. But men and women are not equal. Men physically built this country. Illegal slave doesn't matter. Men did it. Nationality, race doesn't matter. The sex is what we're focused on here. But you are protected by a system. For example, if my girlfriend and I get into a disagreement, can I beat the shit out of her? No, that's illegal and that's morally reprehensible. I'm not saying it's justified. I'm not saying that. What I am saying, though, is the system that has been put in place makes women equal to men. Without that system, you're not, because you weren't before. Why didn't women take over in the Middle Ages? Why didn't women take over in the biblical times? Why? You get the shit beat out of you. It's the truth. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make you any less valuable. That's not what I'm saying. Please hear me out on this. I'm not saying you are not equal. I believe in equality. But the point that I'm trying to make is that that's the reason that feminists and shit like that protest here in America. Because over in the Middle East, it's male dominated. They will beat the brakes off of you. There is no system or law put in place that gives you equality. The only way Iran gets this is if the men are basically convinced to stand for the women. That's the only way. It ain't going to be by the women. You're not strong enough. And here's the other reason, the third reason why they're not going to speak out on this. Anybody guess? What does the government and army have that the civilian populace does not? And I find this is probably one of the bigger reasons why leftists will not touch this. Guns. Listen to me closely. I want every woman in America to not have to rely upon the system, because the system is also broken. The system is there. It's illegal to rape a woman. It's illegal to beat a woman, but the system does not enforce. It can't. It's just a set of mental things, mental laws that you have to respect. Physically, it does nothing. I'm against this in the sense of I want every woman in America armed to the teeth that she can defend herself against any oppressor that tries to beat, rape, or force her to do something she does not want to do. That seems fair to me because the system, which is by and large the police that will enforce the system's laws, will not be there to intervene. But what will be? A gun. So if you truly want equality in America, you give women, and I'm going to say something very serious here, you give women the same ability to kill that men have, and now you're equal. Because it ain't about physicality anymore. It's about who can be the better shot. Now you're equal. Second Amendment rights are women's rights, black rights, gay rights, even trans rights. I saw this one picture of these trans wackos. It's like, we escorted our sister to the trans thing to where they can undergo, and we're armed. And guess what they were armed with, folks? AR-15s. Oh my God. I'll have to find the picture. It was going viral. Suddenly, you whack jobs that are so anti-2A, what did Antifa have at that Roanoke, whatever it was, little trial drag show standing out there? AR-15s.
Huh.
But Democrats, what did they do? Oh, so brave and commendable. Oh my God, look at them standing for their rights. Oh, you conservatives have a problem with them doing it? It's like, no, I actually don't. But I do with Antifa because they should be labeled a domestic terrorist organization. They are. They use violence to promote the political ideologies. They should be shot on sight. But if it was anybody else, hell, give drag queens AR-15s. I doubt they know how to use the motherfucking things, but you get where I'm going. Yes, they should be able to be armed, 100%, because an armed society is a polite society. And I hope I didn't lose you on this little rodeo I took you on. Hopefully that made sense, and hopefully you didn't tune me out at the beginning. It was like, wait, John says that women only have because we let. That's misogynist. No, that's the fucking truth. Because here's the reason. Take that system away. What if tomorrow they said there are no laws on the books that says you cannot assault somebody? Oh, it's going to be game the fuck on. It will be game the fuck on. So when a woman gets smart with a dude, he's going to reach back and knock her fucking teeth down her throat. We see it all the time. And what do the women do? Like, I'm telling you, in these world star hip hop videos, shit like that, when them women get fresh, they get smart, they start smacking on the dude will take her for a little while, and then he reach back and checks the shit out of her, and then everybody around is like, oh my God, why'd you do that? It's like, that bitch wanted to fight like a man, she's gonna get hit like a man. Because you can't take it. Now, then you're going to have feminists coming out and like, well, not all women. Well, of course not all women, but by and large, yes, most women. But if that system is in place, you're protected and you've got equality. Fake equality, but you got equality. Guns give you equality for the ability for you to defend yourself. So yes, I took you on a roller coaster of offensive shit to say, but you know it's fucking true. You know it's true. Women can do anything men can do. Really? Because I certainly don't see you working these hard labor jobs that men do. It's interesting because what I've found is that these progressive women that want to be individuals and they want to be strong and dominant and shit like that, that's all fine and dandy. But I think that you're going to find more so than not, men don't want that. And it's a very complicated issue. Maybe we'll get into it in another episode because I feel like we still got a lot to cover here. Mm-hmm. But I do like the idea of that when a man and a woman start dating, and that woman does have to be aggressive because she has to be career focused. She's on her own. She wants to pay her own bills. And I'm not knocking that. But I feel like when two people date and they come together and that man can be an alpha and present her with good masculinity that makes her feel safe and secure where she can embody her femininity and be more of a woman, they're happier. This is not sexist. I think this is acknowledging how people are in general. But I will say this, that's not always the case. Sometimes some people click, they're just aggressive, but I never see two alphas not button heads. I have yet to see it where two alphas, and I'm talking about like gung-ho aggressive, very aggressive alphas, be they male and female, I don't see it working. I just, like we said, even in everything out there, there's got to be a leader, there's got to be a follower. It's in the military, it's everywhere. That's just me. I don't even want to look at the comments. I'm guaranteeing on YouTube, they're probably shitting themselves right now. This guy is misogynist. No, I'm just a realist. Y'all want to live in this made-up world that liberals have created, you by all means go right ahead. Figure out what gender you are. I don't give a fuck. You get where I'm going on this. But anyway, going back to my main point, why leftists aren't going to touch this is because right here, this is why liberals will not touch this. Because Iran protests, the army vows to confront enemy. Iran protests have erupted over strict laws on women after death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini. And this is what I love, though, and I know I'm going off the tangent here. I get these I'm going to turn my DMs off again because I'm tired of hearing retards in my comments section and shit like that. But this woman was like, why are you speaking about what's going on with the Turkish raping the Armenians? It's like, because I didn't know, just like I didn't know about Iran, but I will say this much. And if she's watching, you need to take this. Number one, check yourself, bitch, because I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to, because it ain't me. Secondly, you need to be a little bit more respectful when you're coming after someone to say, hey, would you please share awareness of this? Because I will tell you this right now. My instinctual reaction is this. Whatever you try and force me and tell me to do, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm not going to say a fucking word because I'm a belligerent son of a bitch. You want to approach me respectfully? Like, I saw this one guy who made a really good point. He says, when you're talking to me and you got something to say, he said, you can either talk to the fool in me or you can talk to the king in me. What you get is what you give me. You want to act like a fool, you get the fool out of me. You want to treat me like a king, I'll give you the king, and I will treat you like a queen, or vice versa. Oh. But this bitch comes to me, and she's acting like, she's fucking acting. I was like, no, then you get the fool in me. I am not mature enough to give you the king when you're acting the fool. I'm going to treat you as you are. Because when you don't do that and you go the opposite route, you only enable and encourage that kind of behavior. I've told this to many people. When you come into my comments and you want to act belligerent, you want to act stupid, I'll kick you the fuck out. You disagree with me respectfully, fair enough. Fair enough. Now, if you're just so stupid, you're trying to die on this hill that you are clearly displaying high levels of cognitive dissonance and you are choosing to ignore truth, I'm not going to treat, because I'm going to treat you like the idiot that you are. Hopefully that makes sense. But this woman comes to my DMs. She's like, why are you bringing awareness to this? Bitch, I didn't fucking know about it. I don't know shit about Turkey. I don't pay attention to that shithole. I don't care about it. And I know that'll probably offend him too. It's like, really? Do you fucking... Because here's the thing I could hit him back with. It's like, oh, how much awareness do you bring to veteran suicide? Well, you know, I didn't know. Oh, so can I hate you for that? Or is it because like, hey, maybe you just didn't know. Not a big fucking... Or maybe because it doesn't directly impact, or, you know, it doesn't impact you, which is fine. We talked about it yesterday with Jessica. It's like, we don't have to care about every fucking thing out there. You guys want a real motherfucker. This is it right here. I'm being real with you. You do not have to care about every fucking issue under the sun, because if you did, no wonder we want to blow our fucking brains out. There's so much negativity out there. It's okay if you have one thing, or if you just don't give a fuck about anything. That's fine too. Trying to force someone through guilt to care about your cause is a really shitty thing to do. Because sometimes people just want to live their lives. So if somebody doesn't want to donate to a cause that keeps veterans from committing suicide, that's their prerogative. Mm-hmm. That's fine. I'm not knocking you. Forced charity or guilt-tripping charity is some bullshit. That is some classic manipulation. What about Saudi? I don't fucking know about Saudi. I don't know. And I also don't understand how people are kind of like, oh, so you're simping for Iran? Like, are you really that stupid? I'm sitting here saying, do I think America should get involved? No, absolutely not.
Right.
But in terms of what we're dealing with now, I'd rather see that Ukrainian money sent in form of armament to those women. Fuck yeah. If we're going to do it, give it to the people that want actual equality. Let's give these women Gustavs, which they probably can't fire. Give them fucking AK-47s. And go see what happens. You want a revolution, it comes through violence and blood, and that requires guns.
Those women would probably take up arms.
Yes, they would.
Fight for their lives.
Yes, they would. 100% they would. Because here's the thing.
Because that's a big step to rip off the hijab and sit there and burn it in the middle of the street, knowing that you're going to have a group of
men,
angry, sweaty,
there's a video
men coming after you.
There was a video viral that literally does what you're describing. It's these women protesters, and it's from a street view up in an apartment complex. You see down on the street, there's a group of 2 or 3 women, and they're screaming around, and they just duck into this little house or this apartment complex. A minute later, all these motorcycles, these dudes pull up, they got batons and AKs, and they break the house doors and they go in after them. How is that not the Gestapo? Because they didn't want to wear hijabs.
Yeah.
Now, those dudes pull up to that, and they're sitting there with AKs pointing out that window, and they just waste those motherfuckers.
Yep.
Now you got a revolution. Mm-hmm. Now you got a revolution. It's not toe-to-toe fighting. It's, again, this is how it would be in America. If there's a civil war, it's going to be guerrilla warfare, urban guerrilla warfare, hits, target hits, assassinations, drive-bys like fucking crazy. And here's the thing. All you got to do is wear on the government. You just wear them down. It's like, this isn't going to happen overnight. Mm-hmm. But when you start losing feds left and right because they're getting assassinated or cops are getting hit with drive-bys, then you're going to have the government say, look, we can't stop this, so we need to negotiate with them. That's how you bring the government to their fucking knees. You ain't bringing this one to their knees by sheer force or power. No. There are so many different ways. You start looking up families of politicians. I'm not calling you to do this. I'm just saying, if there was a revolution, that's exactly how you execute it. Oh, yeah. You go after the families of loved ones. And boy, I'm telling you, it's fucking not pretty. It ain't pretty. There's no hostages. There's executions. You come to the table and negotiate, and you start losing friends and families. We will not negotiate with terrorism. Yes, the fuck you will. I've already seen you do it. It'd be different now if the government said, we've not negotiated with terrorists overseas. Why are we going to do it here? And then it's like, they probably won't, but they've already caved. Mm-hmm. Isn't it kind of weird how you look at it from that aspect, folks? What if it was domestic terrorism? They're already doing it with Antifa. They caved to them left and right.
Oh, they don't even say they exist. They say it's an idea.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
You want to talk about government being in on it, Democrats being in on it.
Yeah. But I'm telling you, this is, again, main reason why leftists will not touch this, because they know how these women going to win. It ain't through social media posts. It ain't through hashtags. It's through guns. It's putting bullets in motherfuckers. That's what brings about change.
I know. These same people that have all these Ukraine flags.
Yep. It's like, let me see some burning hijabs and some profile pictures.
Okay.
Let's see that. I stand with you, Iran. Burn that fucking hijab.
Yeah. I won't hold my breath. Hypocrites.
Yep. Isn't it kind of funny, folks?
When
it comes down to actual equality, actual women's rights that are actually being oppressed, these fat Izzy motherfuckers, you ain't saying a goddamn thing. Mm-hmm. You won't touch it. Or anything involving China. Because your Chinese overlords got you by the fucking coattails.
I know.
LeBron.
Remember that you couldn't even put, what was that? When you go to make your own jersey to put your name on the back, like China sucks or something like that, and they wouldn't let you do it?
I didn't know that.
It was something that
doesn't surprise me, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. That's where we're at. The army claimed these desperate actions. The Iranian army on Friday issued its toughest warning yet to thousands of demonstrators across the nation, protesting the death of Mahsa Amini, and said it will confront the enemies to ensure security, first reported to Reuters. The army claimed these desperate actions are part of the evil strategy of the enemy to weaken the Islamic regime. Jessica Harlow, or no, I'm sorry, it was somebody else that follows me, sent me a DM with a screenshot of a message that she'd received. And let me read this for you. You want to talk about propaganda, bro. You want to talk about serious propaganda. Listen to this message that I'm about to read to you, okay? This woman had the audacity to write this, and this is in response to the post I made about the Iranian, what's going on. She says, a lot of Iranian women agree with and happily adhere to the rules there. She's referring to Islam and Sharia law. I have family in Iran, and many Iranian women there are saying it's really people from the West infiltrating and protesting. Just because we live a certain way in America doesn't mean other cultures want to live that way we do. That's what Americans can't grasp. She said, as the dude behind her cocked the hammer on the gun and said, you will say you're happy or else. Mm-hmm. That's called Stockholm Syndrome. You're telling me that Westerners are going to Iran unarmed to protest the Iranian government and getting killed for it. It's possible. Highly unlikely, but it's possible. Now, the reason I'm bringing this attention to Iran is I actually have in the Tango community, I have a lot of Iranian friends that are really good people from Iran over here. One's a PhD candidate. The one's my Tango teacher. She's from Iran. I wanted her to come on the podcast and tell her story, but she's afraid because she still has family in Iran.
Yeah.
And she says if she did that, they'd find her on social media, find her family, and torture them. Oh, that sounds like a peaceful religion, folks. That sounds like a peaceful religion to me. But she says, yes, women over there, she said, by and large, Iranian citizens love America. But the government will not allow that to get out because the Iranian government has to moderate the media and say that we hate America, death to America, shit like that. Mm-hmm. I fell for it too. I thought Iran hated it. So when I'm sitting there having dinner with them, it's like, yeah, I thought Iranians hated America. She goes, no, we fucking love. Why do you think we come here?
Yeah.
She's like, we hate it over there. And the DMs I get from women, it's like, I'm from Iran. Fuck that place. We couldn't wait to get the fuck out of there. We love America.
Yeah. I mean,
does that make sense to people? It's the government I hate. Now, again, if you're of the government or you support the government, then fuck you. But I believe if somebody wants freedom and equality, then we should support them in a sense of like, yeah, I agree with you. Now, if they want guns and shit like that, hey, we're sending them to Ukraine. Let's send them over there. I prefer to see my tax money over there.
Yeah, it just goes to show you that there's people over and these other countries that are communist run, socialist, that want to get to the United States because they know there's an opportunity to become successful, become wealthy. It's like that guy, Patrick Bet David. Our sons went to the same school, and I got to talk to him a little bit, and he was from Iran. He was a refugee, went to Germany, ended up in California when he was like 10 years old, something like that.
To go from Iran to California is like great, but it's still California.
I mean, massive success. I mean, multi-millionaire.
Why do you think freaking Middle Eastern or Indian people come over here and dominate?
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, their cultures, they study
know
hard, but there's no economic opportunity over there. So it's like America, I'm going over there.
You come here, you work hard, you can make it.
Especially now as a minority. Jesus, you got every break pulled for you. You're golden.
It doesn't matter. The minority, not minority, whatever. You have the same. Everybody has the same opportunity as long as you're willing to work for it.
Well, I think even more so as a minority now.
When you're not claiming yourself to be a victim.
Yeah, it's true. If somebody set up a business in America, which I actually shop at an Iranian shop here locally, it's Iranian food, stuff like that, because I love learning about new cultures. How
much is the suicide vest?
There it is, folks. I was holding back, but there it is. I love that. I was like, it's half off, one-time use. No, I've learned. That's what I love about being in this tango community is because it's so diverse. It's actually diverse. I've met people. We have one group of friends that's actually from India. They came over. They were in an arranged marriage, which I was like, oh, that's interesting. And they even talk about it. They talk about the culture of how Indians get married. It's very expensive. I did not know that. Like, one case in point for those that don't know is that when an Indian man and woman get married, for the groom to go into the woman's bed chambers, the woman's family is there in front of him. And please forgive me if I get this wrong, okay? But essentially, the groom has to bribe the family to get out of the way so he can go see his wife, his new wife. And usually it's around $2,000. The groom has to give, I could have that backwards. I don't remember, but it's something along those lines. Here's another cool little tradition. I thought this is really interesting. I think it's before the marriage starts, you have to take your shoes off. And apparently the groom's shoes become a very hot commodity. Whoever at the end of the night has those shoes, if it's the bride's family, you have to pay to get those shoes back, about like $2,000 or $3,000. So there's a lot of fun games, but they're very expensive fucking games. Like, Jesus. It's like, you people are some rich motherfuckers. Like, do that in America. It's like, $5 tops. Yeah. That's all you're getting from me. Hopefully I have that right. If I got that wrong, please excuse me. I genuinely don't want to get that wrong. But I thought, I was like, those are interesting little factoids I never knew. But anyway, point being was the Iranian friends, very educated. They came over here and they worked their asses off. My teacher, she has a clinic here that she does beautician stuff. She works that, and then she does tango. And she's doing very well. She also does investments. I'm like, good for you. Like, she's educating me on some things. Like, I love that. So when these people sit down and they're telling me, like, no, John, it's like, it's not like you think. The press has got it wrong. The media is manipulated. They want the government, or the government wants the world to think that Iran hates America. So she's like, but by and large, the civilians are not like that. But when she grew up in Iran, she had to teach tango underground. She's like, I loved tango, but they didn't allow tango music. They don't allow tango dance. So I had to teach it like in like these easy ease or these speakeasy type of deals for tango.
Easy ease.
Easy ease. Now the boys from the hood come rocking that hard.
Reach back like a pimp and slap a hoe.
Yep. But I was like, that's interesting. So it's kind of like these very same people don't like the suppressive government. Yeah, well, so I had people like, why are you simping for Iran? It's like, I'm not simping for Iran. I'm simping for freedom. I love the idea of freedom for all. And if these women don't want to wear a fucking hijab, they shouldn't be forced to wear a hijab. I think that's fair. So you'll forgive me if I don't call out the atrocities of every other thing in America or the world that's going on. Because my God, I probably want to blow my brains out after I do that. But anyway, the army claimed these desperate actions are part of the evil strategy of the enemy to weaken the Islamic regime. Propaganda. However, furious protests erupted nationwide following the death of Amini, 22, who was killed while in custody last week after being arrested by the morality police for wearing unsuitable attire relating to the hijab requirements. Men and women have taken to the streets across Iran to protest the strict laws on women, and according to footage obtained by Fox News Digital spread across Iran Thursday night, chanting, "I will kill whoever killed my sister." I love it. I love it. Revolutions are won through blood. It's true. Additional footage showed Iranian armed forces chasing protesters down dark streets and breaking into people's homes where demonstrators appeared to take refuge. According to the Office of the United Nations, where's the UN on this? Where's the UN? Where's NATO?
Climate change.
Exactly. You fucking whack jobs over there taking all this American money, all this taxpayer dollars. Yeah. What are you good for? What is the UN actually good for? Why the fuck are we with the UN?
Look, guys, we're up to our necks in this climate stuff.
America, you got to take the lead on this one. It's like we've done that since the creation of the UN. Yeah.
Can't even see you. Yeah. Smog is so thick in here.
It's like, why are we doing business with you? You're fucking worthless. You're the worst business partners possible.
Get your checkbook out.
It's like Josh and I being partners, and then Josh has to do all the heavy lifting. It's like, why do I have you? Like, why are you here? Like, I don't need you. He probably feels that way already, but still, you get what I'm going with that. UN's fucking worthless.
Say the quiet part out loud.
According to the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner of Human Rights, Amini was arrested by Iran's morality police September 13th for improper hijab use. So the UN knows about this.
Hijab use.
Yeah, the UN knows about this, and they say
you can't just put it on backwards.
Well, I didn't know this, but over the years they've been wearing it further and further and further back, and apparently it's gotten to the point now where if like the hairline is showing too much, it's too much. Yes, because that's the first thing I'm looking at. Well, here's the thing. Like, here's what's fucked up about this. The reason why men over there want women dressed in the burqas and hijabs is said that other men cannot look on them and feel lustful towards them. Mm-hmm. Okay, one of the many reasons. And here's the deal. Like, I'm not even going to go there. It's just not even worth it. Because I was just like, okay, I see what you're saying. Because when I was over there and we didn't have women, we'd see these women in these hijabs and they have these sexy eyes. Like, okay, yeah, I'd fuck her. Don't even know what she looks like. But they don't have that problem because there's women everywhere. They can fuck whoever they want. Men fuck whoever they want over there. They can have their multiple wives, and they can cheat on their wives, and their wives can't do shit about it.
Some people call it rape.
A little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little rape. Just a little. 100% what it is.
You know, why wouldn't they make it, I don't know, out of linen or something?
I have no idea.
What material is it made out of? It doesn't look comfortable.
Even still, it's just the whole reasoning behind it. It's just stupid. Right? Yeah. Reports vindicated she was severely beaten by members of the morality police, possibly tortured during her arrest and detainment at the Vazara Detention Center. Let me ask you something. What's the difference between the morality police and the Ministry of Truth and Information?
The name.
That's about it. That's about it. I mean, until like you have feds show up at your door and it's like, we have seen you posted something that was not fact checked, and we find at the Ministry of Truth to be untrue. You will delete it and get into the train car.
Yeah, the word Nazi was already being used for something else, I guess.
Yep. But again, the press isn't going to touch this. I'm surprised Fox isn't all over this. I really am. It's just like a little sub headline on their website. It's like, wow, Fox dropping the ball on that one. Why aren't you touching it, Fox? You should be. This should be mainstream news right now. Because in my mind, here's the way I think. If we're going to provide armament to Ukraine, fuck them. Let's do it to Iran. Let's give it to the Iranians. And here's the thing. Give them the weaponry to overthrow their oppressors. And if they can basically overthrow that government and reestablish a pro-Western government, we've got a potential ally to do business with. Iran has oil. Now, again, I'm just spitballing here. I'm pretty sure there's way more things to consider there. But in my mind, basic common sense say, okay, let's overthrow this government. We've already done it in the past, but not get directly involved. Yeah. You want weapons? We'll give you weapons, because if this government fucking hates us and wants to use nukes on us, why the fuck would we ever stay out of this? You think Iran wouldn't give a fuck if we were nuked off the map? Oh, 100%, they'd love that. Iran is no ally. The government certainly is no ally. But if the people want help arming themselves, and that's assuming they install a pro-Western government. It could be, again, the enemy I don't know, I'm spitballing. Just makes sense to me. It's like if America's funding them, it's like, hey, man, we got you. Here's some armament. Here's some AKs. Here's some AR-15s. Go to town. I'd support that.
How would you get the weapons in their hands?
No, that's too easy. Really? Same way we do in Ukraine. Just absolutely.
Drop them off?
You can make contacts over there. Little hubs. And it's like, okay, issue these weapons out. Little resistance pockets. 100%. Here's the thing. That's the job of special forces. People don't know that. Like, that's the premier job for special forces. You send in some Green Berets over there. Their job is to train local people to become insurgents against their government. That's the job and the role of the Green Beret.
Really?
They're not force-on-force multipliers like people seem to think. They can be, don't get me wrong, and they're great at it. But this is their job specifically. I'm just saying.
Rebel rousers, huh?
Ukraine was caused by fucking Obama's administration. So if you want to go fight over there for their fuck-up, you go right ahead. Now, again, let me be perfectly clear. Do I think America should get involved directly? No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But if we're going to fund this Ukraine bullshit, let's take that money, buy some arms, and give them arms. Don't give them money, give them weapons. That's it. And not advanced weaponry. You don't need to give them stingers and shit like that. Give them rifles. That's it. A couple AK-47s, a few banana mags, go to town. And watch what they do. Watch what they do. Middle Easterners fight. It's in their blood. That's what they're born to do. They fight. It's in the Bible. Children of Ishmael, whether you believe it or not. Mm-hmm. So, there you go. But you can sit there and say, like, oh my God, it's fucking oppression no matter how you call it. So, it's crazy. But I do like this, how this is interesting. Liberal networks avoid North Dakota teen killed by man who dubbed victim a Republican extremist. Now, I had some guy comment on Instagram, like, do we really know if the boy was a Republican? That doesn't even fucking matter. The guy admitted it. He said, I killed him because I thought he was a member of a Republican extremist party. So whether that kid is gay, Republican, it doesn't fucking matter. No. The causation and motive is very clear. And guess who hasn't said a fucking word? Dementia himself. Well, if I had a son, he'd be like Trayvon.
Let's be honest. He doesn't know what's going on.
He doesn't know what's going on.
Did you see he was talking at the UN? He's like,
go for it. Do it. Tell me.
He's like wandering around the state, like looking for a cue to where he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
you just see it on his face. He's lost. This guy is not there.
And this other guy is talking to him, and he has no idea what's going on. Mm-hmm. It's just
Joe Biden
incredible.
is a threat to national security. He cannot effectively lead. The 25th needs to be invoked. He needs to get pulled out of office. I don't care if somebody worse comes in. All that matters, we have somebody that actually knows what the fuck is going on. This guy is not there.
He just spouts nonsense.
It is, yeah. He can't even talk.
He can't talk.
Nope.
Like everything that he says is a complete and utter lie. Like nothing has
81 million votes, baby.
Yeah, no truth whatsoever.
Nope. He's only gotten
what he's
worse.
Talking about. Yeah.
Bro, if you've seen him on the national debates, the presidential debates back in 2020, 2019, and you see him now, you can clearly see a pattern of decline.
Oh my God.
And I remember when I debated Bastiat on Twitch, I remember years ago, he's like, are you a doctor? Did you know? Bastiat, where are you at now? All these people that defended and simped for him, he said, are you a doctor? Are you a doctor? I go by what I'm seeing. I go by,
I'm not a doctor, but I'm also not a complete and total idiot.
Exactly.
And I can tell when someone has some sort of mental problem.
Don't have to be a mechanic to know if my car is broken.
Yeah.
Don't have to be a doctor to say, oh, yeah, he's showing on signs of dementia and Alzheimer's. Yes, it's clear.
Especially people who have loved ones who
got sundown syndrome. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Who've had this condition. You can spot it. You don't have to be a licensed physician.
All these political commentators will never come back and recant and say, I was wrong, you were right. They'll never do it.
These other physicians that say there are more than two genders, I don't want to go to them as a doctor.
Fuck no.
I don't trust them.
You're not a doctor. You're an activist with a freaking medical degree. That's all you are. You're an activist with a medical degree. It's ridiculous.
I mean, that's one of my first questions going into a new doctor is, do you have pronouns?
Yeah.
You do? Okay, well, this isn't going to work.
Yep. It's crazy how that works. But again, this is fucking what they do. The liberal media has long decried the threat of violent right-wing extremism. And this is why nobody takes liberals seriously. Because if you liberal MSN outlets want to talk about how hatred and violent the right is, why aren't you calling out your own? When you don't, you lose all credibility. So the next time something violent happens at the hands of a white heterocystic male shooter, and you don't call out this shit, that's why nobody listens to you. You're clearly biased.
I know.
18-year-old North Dakotan Kaylor Ellingson, by the way, when are we marching? When are we burning shit down? Say his name, Black Squirt. When are we doing it?
When are we banning cars?
When are we doing it? Yeah, when are we banning cars? When are we banning alcohol?
This is one of the multiple times that one of these deranged lunatics has taken their vehicle and hit another person or drove into a crowd.
If it just saves one life, Josh. Yeah. If it saves one life.
I'm all for taking the driver's licenses away from every Democratic person here in the United States just because they use it as a weapon.
Relax, liberals. We're not coming for your car rights.
I mean, according to most Democrats, there's some group of people that can't even get driver's licenses.
Oh, yeah, because they're black and too stupid, according to them. Black people can't even get photo IDs. They can't even operate the internet. Like, are you fucking stupid? What? Like, you really think black people are that ignorant? Wow. It just, again, it only displays the high levels of racism The left just has no problem, like, inadvertently or unintentionally conceding. It's like, so then you admit you're racist.
Yeah.
Hey, man, if you're not black if you don't vote for me. Oh, really? So
What was that last thing that Biden said?
that guy's just a fucking nut job.
Total, like, oh my God.
Guy's an idiot.
It's that guy probably just drops the N-bomb around his house. Just walking around.
Yeah, he does. Well, you got to imagine how nervous they are with him on that stage.
I know.
You got to imagine it's like one of these days.
Because he was floating very close to the edge with Obama, talking about, oh, he wants to put you all back in chains and like all this other shit. Even back in the 80s.
Oh, he's a racist. Like this dude, and I'm not talking about like, oh my God, they say something that I construe as being racism, so they're no, Biden is legitimately, he has said things like, I don't want my kids growing up in a jungle.
He's old school Robert Byrd, Klan racist.
This dude,
I wouldn't be shocked if he had a Klan outfit in his closet. He's some sort of a grand wizard.
Brandt, who initially fled the scene after hitting the teen with his SUV, told police that Ellingston had belonged to a Republican extremist group. Brandt was released on $50,000 bond. He murdered a kid, admitted to it, and was released on $50,000 bond.
That's incredible. If I was that kid's parents,
I'd take matters in my own hands. Like, okay, if they're not going to handle it, I will. You've already taken my son.
Yeah.
Fine. If that's how this justice system wants to be, then fuck the system. Murk that motherfucker. And here's the thing, make it look like you didn't do it. Fuck them.
What a slap in the face to those parents.
Yep. None of the 5 major news networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and MSNBC, have offered any on-air coverage to the attack on Wednesday and Thursday, according to Grabian transcripts. Well, folks, let's do a little social experiment here. Let's go to CNN.com. Do they have anything? Nope. First one is Trump wages secret court battle to block January 6th. Sham votes could escalate war. NATO chief warns. Canadians brace for unprecedented storm surge. Retired Supreme Court judge. Blah, 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 blah. There isn't shit on there, folks. Now, why is that? And there is certainly nothing about Iran on there.
Because it's election season. We have to talk about Trump.
Weird, right? Even in the top headlines, Ukraine trending, Emi Udoka, drag race UK star dies, world's best airline, Roger Federer, Hillary Mantel, podcast The Axe Files. Not a fucking peep. And folks, if it's nationwide and everybody's talking about it and you're not running a piece on it, you're doing that deliberately. Yeah, you are deliberately trying to stifle that.
It's a joke of a news site.
That's why nobody fucking respects you leftist organizations. And I'm not saying that Fox is better, but at least Fox is fucking running it. Breitbart is running it, saying, hey guys, what the fuck? So again, once more, liberals will not call out their own. And that's why nobody fucking respects you. Fuck liberals.
You weak nerds.
Again, Representative Steve Scalise says House Republicans have a plan to save America. Now, here's the thing. These are the promises they're making, folks. Screenshot this shit and hold them accountable. In less than 2 years, President Biden and Speaker Pelosi have forced an agenda that wrecked our economy, driving inflation into alarming levels. Far-left socialists have opened our southern border. Okay, he says, we have a plan. Today, House Republicans are rolling out our commitment to America, which is a bold conservative vision for a prosperous America that will reverse Biden and Pelosi's self-made crisis. Oh, by the way, Schumer even said to Pelosi, he said that Pelosi's in hot water right now. They're in trouble. Because even Biden admitted, I've got the article, and we might not make it to it because we're almost over on time. But Biden even said, if we lose the House and Senate, we start living in a different world. I'm all for it. I am all for it, baby.
We have to get these people out of government.
Yep.
I mean, they are destroying this country at a record pace. I mean, the Schumers, the Pelosi's, the McConnells.
Yep.
All these.
There's no denying
it. There just isn't.
Yeah. We have a plan. Okay, Mayor, reverse Biden, Pelosi's self-made crisis. Our plan is built on 4 key principles: an economy that is strong, a nation that is safe, a future built on freedom, and a government that is accountable. Despite warnings from Larry Summers, the top economic advisor to both President Clinton and President Obama, Democrats wasted $10 trillion of taxpayer money on big government spending bills. The result is skyrocketing inflation, which reached the highest level in nearly 40 years. Biden and Pelosi's inflation is crushing hardworking families and taking $460 out of pockets. Folks, you know what they say they're really hitting you with right now?
Dong.
They said again, 460, it's higher than that. They're basically saying they're hitting almost 1,000. Each family is hitting worth about 1,000 in inflation costs. That's a lot of fucking money. That is a lot of money, especially when you're paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Democrats passed the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, but this legislation actually raises taxes on workers and small businesses. And this is actually true. There's a 15% corporate business tax. Biden's trying to base. He's wanting. Here's how stupid these folks are, folks. This is how stupid they are. This is coming from small business owners, okay? I think right now, Shell Shock, based upon the times 4 multiplier, we're valued about $4.6 to $5 million, okay? We built this business in under 3 years. Now, and I tell you that because it's the kind of money we're dealing with. If Biden imposes a 15% corporate tax on us, and we got to pay more in taxes, what does that mean? The government gets more of your money. We cannot expand. We cannot do raises for our employees. You are taking more of our gross profits that we cannot reinvest back. You're raising our taxes already. Folks, we pay almost $22,000 a week in payroll tax. They are taking so much money from us. How are we supposed to grow? So when Biden sits there and say the Inflation Reduction Act, because businesses need to pay more, no, businesses need to pay less.
Yeah,
folks,
government needs to curb spending.
There you go. Because I'm telling you this right now, and this is what socialists don't seem to get. This is what liberal Democrats don't seem to get. Do you think Josh and I, as the CEOs of this company, do you think we are squirreling money away? No, we want to reinvest to make more money, to pour back into it. What did I do with my first real big pay? I bought a Corvette. That stimulated the local business. I bought a Tesla. I bought some other stuff. I bought some decorations for my house. We're putting that money back into the economy. Mm-hmm. But if you really think a successful business owner just blows money on stupid shit, well, they won't be in business very long. You've got to diversify and you've got to invest. That's the smartest way to go about it. So if you really think, like a lot of these stupid Democrats things, like, well, the CEOs, they're just, they're hoarding all the wealth. No, they're not. They're fucking opening. We have the money right now, but we're not doing it. You know what I want to do? I want to launch another business that hopefully can scale to the same as Shell Shock. Mm-hmm. And what does that require? Hiring more employees. That is putting food on more tables. This is a good economy to do that with. Or not this, I'm just saying that's how economy is run. It's not by increasing the taxation on them. Let them put more money back in. Now, if you want to call that trickle down, I don't give a fuck what you call it. It's common fucking sense. Curb government spending and reduce the taxes on businesses and people alike. Let's do a flat tax. I'm okay with that. Because here's the deal. You're going to have to pay tax. We have to pay tax to deal with a lot of this shit out there. We got to endorse or at least support public. I get that. I get that. It's a necessary evil. I understand that. But I think we are advanced in technology. We're going to make that optional. Again, we've talked about that. Every car comes with a toll tag, and you only pay a tax on what you use versus a flat tax. If you don't have kids in school, I should be paying a school tax. It's bullshit.
You think so? I'm kind of torn on that because essentially, I think we're investing in the youth.
Okay, now do it for healthcare. Should I pay for your healthcare because we're investing in a healthier America?
It's not the same thing.
How is it not the same thing? I'm paying for something that you have access to that I get no benefit from.
Because these kids are going to grow up to be working members of society. And if you're a working member of society, you can afford to take care of yourself in turn, pay for your own health insurance.
Is that guaranteed, though?
It's got to be.
I think it's the same principle.
It served everybody well. I don't think just because I'm different. I'm okay with paying for schools taxes, even though
if my kids were in school, yes.
Even though we didn't do it, so eventually, if you have kids, you're going to be paying taxes for the school.
Do you
property
think
taxes? That's what it goes for.
Let's just say that only people with kids in school paid those taxes. Do you think you'd have enough tax money generated in that tax revenue to help cover the costs of running said school and paying the salaries? I think they would.
I don't know, maybe.
And if that's all that matters, then why are we taxing everybody else?
Hey, they should. I think the money is mismanaged, but I agree.
That's what I'm saying. The more money you give them, the more they mismanage.
I agree.
So that's the point that I'm trying to make. When you keep the coffers almost dry, they're going to spend it on what's important.
Yeah, I agree with the premise of, taxes going to public schools. I went to a public school.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. But
when I went through it up in Ohio, the schools were great. Mm-hmm. We didn't grow up with a lot of money, but still the schools that we went to were blue ribbon schools. Mm-hmm. So, and that was paid for by the taxpayers. So
I guess
now it's just become activism, and that's the real problem. Mm-hmm. So,
The thing is, if I don't directly benefit from it, then why am I again Social Security? Another case of why am I paying into this?
Social Security?
Yeah, this is stupid.
I think there's a lot of over government spending, but stuff like
we have these socialist policies put into place in these programs, and people keep saying, like, what about Denmark? Because they are actually a capitalist society built on a capitalist foundation with just like much like America with socialist policies put into place. Again, Social Security. It's in the fucking name, Social Security. And again, how did that get fucked up? They didn't have enough foresight to realize that we'd eventually be upside down and people retiring versus people working. So now we're upside down and the percentages that we're going to get back on our Social Security. How do we fix that? Stop being the nanny state and give people their money back and say, hey, if you don't have enough when your time to retire, you're going to work till the day that you die. Yeah, so here's an idea. Maybe you start your own savings account or a mutual investment account, and there you go, or 401k, whatever the case may be. Let them keep their money.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get Social Security.
No, yeah, I agree. Even Crenshaw and the rest of them, they don't ever want to abolish Social Security. It's like, no, because you bought into the system. We can easily fix this. Well, I shouldn't say easily. We can go about setting into the thing like, hey, at this date in 2025, from there on out, Social Security's over. Yeah. Like, you're not paying into it, and you're not getting it if you're starting out at 18 now. So then there's the cutoff of the spigot. Now, I think the question comes into how do we fund the rest of the people that are going to be retiring lastly?
They've ruined it. Like, this government has completely screwed the American people because of their greed.
Yep. I agree. Let's keep going. Joe Biden quietly lowers expectations for Democrats in the midterm, says, remember Barack? President Joe Biden continues trumpeting his agenda on the fundraising circuit as he quietly prepares his supporters for a Republican takeover. He says, if we lose control of the House and Senate, we have a different world, Biden told supporters in New York City on Wednesday. I'll be spending all my time with the veto pen, but it won't be a lot of initiatives. Good. So folks that don't realize or don't understand, if we win back the House and Senate, we go into a checkmate. Or a gridlock, rather. Ain't shit happening. And here's the thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, if this guy can't do anything,
it's and Congress can't do anything, like, now you're going to see no more new laws, none of this shit, and people just get left the fuck alone. Yeah. That might be the best method forward. It's like, oh, by the way, unfortunately, they can't repeal a lot of the shit. I mean, they could try. But the point still stands of, like, shit happening.
The first thing that needs to happen is Joe Biden needs to be impeached. He needs to be yanked out of there immediately.
Democrats they need to be investigated hardcore. Hunter Biden, absolutely.
The fact that they haven't gone after that laptop, like they went into fake Russia collusion, is astonishing.
Do you think if Trump gets reelected, do you think he'll make good on abolishing the FBI?
He needs to. I mean, there's just those agencies, man, are just...
Democrats will fight that tooth and nail. And then for the first time in their recent history, you will see the left now defending law enforcement.
Yeah, I was listening to some the first part of Dan Bongino's interview with the FBI whistleblower, and it's pretty eye-opening.
What you were telling me before the show, as far as there was like over 1,000 agents that quit because the jab.
3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. It's worth listening to. I mean, this guy is very brave, and I hope more people like him come out and blow the whistle on these turds.
Yep.
Going out and opening investigations on parents going to a school board because they're pissed off because these freaks want to talk to their kids about sex and multiple genders.
I love how Biden is campaigning for money, yet he can't even effectively manage the economy. Hey, man. Give us more money because that's how we're going to do this. It's like, bro, you can't even handle the taxpayer money that you've got effectively and efficiently.
I know, it just goes right through his hand into his son's gaping asshole.
Yep. Gotta love this. How interesting it is that these fucking green people suddenly, when prices start going up, they recant. Just good common sense. UK confirms it will lift fracking ban in England. Back to the fossil fuels, boys. Russia turned the fucking noose, and suddenly we don't give a fuck about the environment because I don't want to pay that much. Isn't that what Republicans have been saying for years? Like, you have these great ideas, AOC, you dumb cunt, but they're going to bankrupt the people. It's not applicable. This is not pragmatic, you stupid bitch. Go back to bartending. The fuck do you know about economics? Jesus. Fucking everything should be green. No, it shouldn't, because it's not sustainable and it's expensive as fuck.
I'm gonna give you a green hawker right
green
across the
thumb
face.
Up the ass. Oh my! You know how much it costs if you get solar panels installed on your house? About 25 grand, roughly, give or take. Now here's the thing: do you think you're gonna see that money in savings on electricity up front? No, that takes years to get an ROI on that investment. We ain't got that kind of time with this kind of shit. Most people don't. You front $25K, I need that back within 6 months. Yeah. And if I'm not hitting that ROI at that time frame, I'm not doing it.
I'm an oil man.
I'm a Dapper Dan man.
Dapper Dan, I like gasoline.
I mean, here's the thing. I do wish there were alternatives. Yes, I don't want to farm and mine minerals from the earth. I know. I think it's destroying the earth. We shouldn't do that. But at the same token, until you can give me an alternative method that is, number one, pragmatic and affordable, what options are we left with? I'm not heating my house
Mine it.
with a fucking candle. That ain't going to happen.
Nope.
Watchdog Department of Labor paid out 45. Oh, my God. You remember when I talked about the nanny state of the government and the things like Milton Friedman talked about? He said any policy that promises to do a good thing is not what you judge it by. You judge it by what it actually does. Watchdog Department of Labor paid out $45 billion in fraudulent coronavirus aid claims.
You're kidding.
This showcases once again to our retarded Democrat friends on the left that socialism does not work. Because if they steal from you in this capacity, what the hell means they're not going to do it in other ways? That's why socialism does not work, because it removes the element of the initiative to be successful. Because if we're all each according to their own needs, there's going to be some lazy motherfucker saying, well, I just don't feel like working, so somebody else will cover down. And the next thing you know, you've got a massive welfare state. Oh, what about Bernie Sanders? Kicked out of the commune because he didn't pull his weight. Here's a perfect example of why socialism doesn't work. You old gas bag.
He looks like he stinks.
He does.
He looks like he probably smells like mothballs.
Imagine like the woman that has to have sex with that guy if he can even still get it up. Ugh.
Have you seen his wife?
No, she's probably hideous, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't surprise me.
She's got like a mullet.
Ugh. Really?
Yeah.
Like intentionally, or she's just balding?
It's an intentional mullet.
Oh God, why?
I don't know.
Ugh. Why would you want to date a woman that looks like that? Ugh.
Well,
or even be with a woman?
He's about 100. So I'm assuming she's about 30 years younger than he is. But I'm
waiting, dude. When he dies, another party. We're gonna have a lot of parties.
This guy should be out of government.
He should. He's a career politician like Biden and the rest of them. The McConnells, all of them.
I mean, he's nailed it as far as not having to work a day in his life and still get paid.
Yeah. Former official pleads guilty in welfare scandal involving John Madden's favorite, Brett Favre. Yep, it's real. The recent plea deal by former Mississippi Welfare Director John Davis, who has agreed to cooperate with investigators, is the latest big victory for prosecutors in the Magnolia State. And it could possibly bring them one step closer to charging NFL legend Brett Favre. According to Front Office Sports, Davis has previously been indicted for more than 24 state and federal charges as part of the scheme. Now, listen to that, folks, okay? Remember that, because what I'm about to read to you does not look good on Brett Favre. So I'm going to read that for you one more time. According to Davis, the guy in question, has previously been indicted on more than 24 state and federal charges as part of the scheme. Now, let me skip to the end over here. FBI, Favre could be in trouble for what he told the FBI. According to Front Office Sports, Favre was asked, were you ever in Tupelo, Mississippi? Favre said he was there and when he was a child, though Matt Timpak, a veteran federal criminal defense attorney and founder of Timpanic Law, seems to think the FBI had a good reason for asking Favre that question. FBI agents don't ask questions they don't already know the answers to, Timpak explained. You ask that because lying to a federal agent in federal matter is a felony. The message appeared to show that Favre was concerned about where the money was coming from and the ability of the media to discover its origin, but he went through the deal anyway. Now, let me actually read the deal. And the point that I'm trying to make is Favre, a millionaire who's dealing with millions right now, didn't ask the history of the guy he's dealing with. You think you might want to know that. It's like, hey, this investment guy I'm talking to, oh, by the way, he's been prosecuted over 24 times for federal fraud. I'm probably not doing business with him. Probably not going to happen. It's not a good idea. I'm just saying.
Might have to check Brett Favre's mental state.
I'm telling you, he's probably voting liberal. According to Favre has been on the radar of investigators for months. Favre could also be in trouble for what he told the FBI, according to Front Office. So essentially, let me see where actually
you see the text messages?
Yeah. The text, but again, these could be fabricated. You don't know if it's real or not, but it says, if you were to pay me, okay, essentially this was basically welfare money used to, let me go find, Where was the main point of this? Okay, here it is. According to Front Office Sports, Davis has previously made a dime more. Nancy New, the head of a nonprofit used to funnel welfare funds, pleaded guilty to 13 felonies for her role in the fraud in April. Along with Miss Governor Phil Bryant, Davis was one of the officials who helped Favre obtain $5 million in welfare funds to have a volleyball court built at the University of Mississippi, the school where his daughter was playing the sport at the time. Why doesn't Favre just give up his own money? Doesn't look good for Favre.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't look good for him. And you're a businessman. You know this. Weird. Allah Akbar versus Jai Shri Ram. UK riots between Muslims and Hindus spreading. Riots between Muslims and Hindus in Britain have spread from Leicester to Smethwick and may spread all over Britain, community leaders warn. A mob of over 200 Muslims shouting Allah Akbar. That gives you a warm and fuzzy, doesn't it? Imagine 200 Muslims coming down the street screaming Allah Akbar. It's like, okay, wait for the explosion. It's coming somewhere. Because again, that's not racist. That's what they always do. So you can get me on racism. I really don't fucking care. Stereotypes exist for a reason of truth or a kernel of truth, and that's exactly where it comes from. Gathered outside Durba Bhagwan Temple. Here's the thing: if you have issue with that, then stop blowing yourselves up. That'd be appreciated. Temple in Smethwick, a post-industrial town in West Midlands, on Tuesday night, with mob members trying to scale its perimeter fence before scrapping with interviewing police officers, according to reports. The violence, which saw police pelted with fireworks and other missiles, was ostensibly triggered by the word that the temple had invited Sadhvi Rithambara, an Indian described by the press as a Hindu nationalist, to deliver a sermon. Oh, how tolerant. Muslims didn't want him preaching. The incident follows now long-running violence in Leicester. I'm probably saying that wrong. Leicester and the East Midlands between Muslims and Hindus, initially linked. Imagine being in 2022 and we're still fighting over religion. Isn't that the dumbest thing to fight over? Makes sense. Why the fuck are we fighting and killing over religion? Can't you people just shut the fuck up and live in peace and realize that not everybody's going to see it your way? Not everybody wants to worship Allah. Nobody wants to worship the Pope. Not everybody wants to worship Jesus, and that's perfectly okay. Why are we still dealing with this? My God. We should be curing cancer right now. But instead, we still got the Muslims going crazy over Islam. God forbid you insult Muhammad. They get their panties in a bud, their man jammies up their ass. We should be working on curing cancer right now, and Biden ain't going to be the one to do it. I'm telling you that right now. Should have flying fucking cars. But instead, we're arguing on what fucking gender we are. And sexualizing children. It's disgusting. Our society is fucking pathetic. We're a joke. We could be doing so much better.
I was promised jetpacks.
I know. Where the fuck is my jetpack? No, I want a hoverboard. Michael J. Fox had one. Where's mine?
It's way past 2015.
Yep, it's time. A legal alien accused of killing 24-year-old sheriff's deputy had criminal history, but feds failed to deport him. And here's the problem. Deportation is not a fix because they just come right back. A legal alien accused of killing 24-year-old sheriff's deputy. And the feds failed to deport him. They're not sending us their best, folks. Case in point. The man was right.
God, man. That poor kid.
Yep. Well, that's it for today's show, folks. Still got a few more things to cover, but it's about AOC, and I don't care enough to do. She's just, AOC's being AOC, just a dumb cunt that she is.
She's a total moron.
Total idiot. She's just a fucking idiot. But then again, that's what gets you. Well, anyway, folks, don't forget this episode is brought to you by ShellShockCBD.com. It's September. And don't forget, for the remainder of the month, use code MUG on a $50 order of more of whatever the fuck you want, and we will send you a free mug. You want it autographed? Just write it in the notes. We will send you this amazing acrylic branded with the logos Shell Shock CBD mug. These things are actually really nice. Josh and I signed about 30 the other day. We've been signing a lot. You want our autographs on them? We'll happily do that to you, but that's just for the month of September. So again, $50 purchase or more. Doesn't matter what you buy. Doesn't matter. Go to town on some sample packs. Get $50 worth or more. Use code MUG. There you go.
Bing.
Mugs valued at roughly $14.99. You get it for free with our autograph. That makes it cheaper, I guess. I don't know what that does to it. Maybe when I'm dead, it'll be worth something. Down. Yeah, pretty much. All right, folks, we appreciate you being here. Don't forget to share the podcast. I immediately upload after this the audio to iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Wherever you hear the podcast, that's where it's going to be uploaded to. So you can go watch it or listen to it again. Tag your friends. Share it. That's the only price I ask that you guys pay for us. Go share it with your boys. Go get them listening to it. The voice of reason. The voices of reason of the American people, for the people, by the people. And we say the word fuck a lot. There you go. And Alec killed a guy.
That's right.
Got anything to add, my man?
You guys have a great weekend.
Oh, and Van Taylor got his butthole licked.
That's
Until
right.
Monday, you stay savage, America.